Alex, and welcome back to Every Naval Battle in History. I'm trying a little experiment with putting my face back in these videos, so we will see how that goes. Okay, let's kick this off. The Battle of the Masts, sometime between 651 and 655, who knows. Around 100 years after the Visigoths' dreams of challenging the Romans at sea had been dashed at Sena Gallica, things became decidedly more interesting off the coast of Turkey in the conflict which has become known to history as the Battle of the Masts. Now, before we get going on this episode, we have to acknowledge that for one of the most famous naval battles in history, very little is known for sure about this one. Sources are obviously ill-informed, contradictory, and confusing. It would appear that neither side knew a lot about what they were doing at the time, and only later would historians attempt to place it into context. On that note, let's attempt to place it into context. From 622 to 632, the Prophet Muhammad, and no, we won't be putting pictures of him into this video, conquered the Arabian Peninsula. We should note that the combination of nation and religion as a new conquering force was something quite unique in human history. From 632, the Rashidun Caliphate, the successors to the Prophet, tore into the old Roman and Persian empires. Of particular interest to us naval nerds, they conquered the immensely wealthy coastal strip from the south of Turkey through the old Phoenician cities of the Levant, what we today call Lebanon and Israel, and captured the jewel of the Mediterranean in Egypt. The debacle for the Romans in Egypt from 639 to 642 was particularly poignant, with the storied Legio V Macedonia, first raised in 43 BCE by Octavian himself, meeting its end after 680 years of leaving their names on tombstones throughout the empire when they buried their dead in the service of the emperors. One recurring theme for the late Romans is that the average member of the public didn't appear to have a lot of enthusiasm for the continuation of Roman rule. We don't hear the voices of the common folk, but there doesn't appear to have been a lot of grassroots resistance to the idea of new, possibly lower taxing regimes. In any event, imagine the Arabs coming out of the desert from a society where camel trains were the main way to conduct trade and getting a load of the merchant ships' holds in the harbour of Alexandria. It is clear they were big fans of the possibilities taken to the sea presented. Sometime between 650 and the First Fitna, or Islamic Civil War in 656, the Battle of the Masts took place. Based out of Alexandria, with Yemeni sailors and Iranian shipwrights hard at work, the Arabs used Acre, Tyre and Beirut as their forward bases. Pushing up around the southern coast of Turkey, under the command of Abu al-Awwar, they met the Roman fleet, with Emperor Constans II in personal command, off the coast from Mount Phoenix. Whether this is before or after Abu al-Awwar was responsible for the destruction of the remains of the fallen Colossus of Rhodes in 653 is a matter for you when you think the Battle of the Masts occurred. This chronology is a mess. The descriptions we have suggest that due to the high seas, both sides lashed their ships together and fought a massed boarding action. The closeness of the ships gives the battle its name, as the masts were all pressed together. Once again, thanks to Midjourney for doing a pretty ordinary job of drawing the battle, but not much worse than later artistic interpretations, like this one from 1935. Either the historians chronicling the events have little idea what they're writing about, or the commanders didn't know what they were doing, or hey, both of these things can be true. 200 Arab ships faced 500 Roman vessels, although there's a bit of evidence to suggest that the Arabs, facing supply constraints on shipbuilding timber, invested in quality over quantity. The Arab losses were described as light, while the Roman losses were near total. Emperor Constans fled for his life. The Arabs followed up with the unsuccessful siege of Constantinople in 655, before falling victim to a series of assassinations of the caliphs, which led to the First Fitna, and with it the great split between the Sunni and Shia branches of their faith, something which is very much with us today. The Romans got serious about investing in their navy as a result of this loss, and quite the naval arms race would result, with the legendary Greek fire coming out of it, as well as exciting uses of catapults by the Arabs. While the last days of the Eastern Romans were still centuries in the future, they would never truly recover from the damage they suffered in this period. Strap in, folks, we've got lots more to cover as we take on every naval battle in history. Smash those like and subscribe buttons, ring that bell, you don't want to get left behind.